Hi. So you found us. Welcome. I'm Philip.
I'm Catherine.
Welcome
Welcome to
to
our
our
piece
piece
of
of
Earth.
Earth.
We are co creating this off grid, sustainable, regenerative space with the land, and we're happy to share our stories with you.
Please like and subscribe to enter to win one of our t-shirts or mugs. To enter, like and subscribe and leave a comment below and give us your preference of whether you want a t-shirt or a mug. We'll be going live in Facebook and YouTube in 1 week on March 13th, 2026.
Friday the 13th, which
Friday the
is
13th.
also Philip's birthday. We hope you enjoy this first slice of life video. We plan to offer videos every week that just show what we're doing here on our piece of Earth.
We'll be sprinkling in compilation videos from the last 5 years of building, learning, and co-creating on this land here. So we hope you enjoy, and thanks for joining us. We are gonna go let the chickens out. We leave them in until 9:30 or so, because we've had a fox every once in a while come by and try to pick some off. So we found that we leave them in a little bit later, and it helps keep them safer. So here we go. Come on out, ladies and gentlemen. And so we'll start the day. It's a beautiful day. Girls are lazy in the sun already. Oh. Hey, pigs. Oh, yeah. I woke them up. Okay, so we are going to make some new beds, garden raised beds. And in the bottom, we have cardboard and then goat shed clean out, sticks, corn cobs from our Three Sisters garden. And then I put in this topsoil. It's just cheap stuff I got at the local store. And there you go. So then we added 3 inches of our homemade compost. And then that's all set and ready to go. Now we can plant some chitted potatoes we kept from last year, and we'll see how that turns out. What?
Something's moving.
It's fairly fluffy still, so.
I'm not putting my hands back in there.
Yeah, you are.
No,
Yeah, you can do it.
you can get me a trowel.
Alright.
Oh, I can't have. Are they gonna eat this?
No, I can't.
I'm saying, what's in there? Gonna eat the potatoes?
That's what if it's a vole, then the cats will get it.
Before they get my potatoes? Oh. Oh my god. It's like alien. Put both hands in and catch it. Catch it. It bounced back. planting potatoes, but our plan is to cover this bed with plastic if we start to get cold nights again. We're having abnormally warm weather, like many of you are, I assume. But we do have a piece of plastic that we can cover the potatoes with in case we do get a freeze. Otherwise, they're going to be perfectly fine. We'll have early potatoes this year.
Taters. Oh, I gotta get the camera.
We're going to be potting up some sweet potatoes to get the slips started for spring. So I've got my peat moss here. Peat moss isn't necessarily the most optimal medium, just because it's not that sustainable. And so we're working on finding alternatives. Sometimes we use coconut coir when we have that available, but we do have to order that in. And you could also just use compost. The downside of using straight compost is you don't need nutrient dense material for this to get it started. You just need something to hold water. So I guess another alternative would be sand. And we do have sand we could use too that's just going to hold water, but we have this peat moss. This is the last bag that we bought last year. And so I've got it, so I'm using it. So peat moss or sand or compost, something just to hold water. This is my preferred method for starting sweet potatoes. I've tried lots of different ways, and this is the way that works the best and most consistently for me. Another way some people do it is just to stick the end of a sweet potato in water. So you might have like a vessel of water and put like toothpicks or something around the edge. And so this pointy end needs to be contact in the water, and your slips will grow from the top. That's one method. I find that it actually starts to stink a little bit and it gets a little funky, and I don't like that. So this is what I do. This is just a standard seed starting tray, like a tray that you might put a seed starting tray in. It's flat, it does not have holes in the bottom, it's solid. And so we're going to fill this container with pre-soaked peat moss. So it's very wet, you can see. And it looks like I'm going to need to get more, but I'm going to show you what I do in kind of this first half. And I'll fill up the rest of this half with more, because you want it nice and full. And then I'm going to take this sweet potato and just nestle it right down in there. So it's about halfway buried in the wet peat moss. And then we're going to put it in a sunny window and then just keep it wet. So I just, keep, it doesn't have to be this wet. This will, but every week or so, I'll just kind of put my finger around it and moisten the peat moss. This one actually already has a little teeny tiny slip starting to grow right there. So that's great. These are sweet potatoes from last fall, harvested from the garden. So this is a great time to get your slips starting. It takes them a couple of months to start forming. We plant sweet potatoes in the garden in mid-May to late May, so well after any frost, and the soil needs to be really warm. But it'll take them a couple months. We're right at the beginning of March right now. It'll take them a couple of months. They'll start growing. As they grow, I might get like a cluster of long slips here. I could even trim some of those and put those in water to get them rooted as the potato is continuing to grow slips. Oh. That's how we get a hawk. So I'm going to finish up getting some more peat moss in here and get the rest of these sweet potatoes planted up. We've got a couple of different varieties. And yeah, we'll be ready for spring, for summer.
All right, so now we've got our sweet potatoes embedded in the moist peat moss. And it's actually a double tray. These are pretty flimsy by themselves, and it's a lot of weight. So we actually put 2 trays. It's a little easier to move it back and forth, because later I'm going to want to, wipe or clean or whatever. But it's just facing outside, getting the sunlight from the south-facing window, and we'll keep you posted. Before you know it, we'll have slips sticking out.
So we're in mid to end February here in Missouri Ozarks, and it's a great time of year to take elderberry cuttings. You can see the elderberries are already sprouting here at the nodes. We've got some leaves growing. So it happens to be 65 degrees this year, which is abnormal, but even if it was cold, it's a great time to go ahead and take these cuttings. So I'm just going to show you, we've got a couple that are growing outside of the medicine garden fence, so I want to trim these. And so we'll, it's a great opportunity to show you how to take a cutting. I'm trying to get below this one right there. Okay, so what you want is an inch or so below a node. That's where your rooting is going to happen. And then you can cut right above the next one. And there's your cutting. And so then we'll just go ahead and process this one off for the rest of these cuttings. So this part I'm just discarding. And these are the cuttings. So we just have to have two nodes, one for rooting and one for shooting, roots and shoots. This I might leave two because it's kind of small. We'll leave two upper nodes on that one and this one also. And then we're probably done. You can toss that one. It's too small. Okay, so now we're going to switch and show you how we plant them.
So we're adding elderberry cuttings to our food forest areas as we build this out. You can see apple trees with these rings of cages around them. All right, so now we're going to plant our cuttings into the ground. If you're going to hold them overnight, put them in a bucket of water to keep them moist. So anyways, we've got a row of these going. And what I'm doing is I'm just slicing into the ground about that deep. And I'm going to put this rooting in, or this cutting in, and then I'm going to press the ground back in around it so that it's got good soil contact. Like so. And then just add a little water to it. Little splash. And then we'll just continue doing that and putting in each one. And I'll put a little mulch around this, or grass clippings, or a little flag or something to kind of mark it, because it's kind of hard to see. Little wooden stick sticking out of the brown grasses and dirt and stuff. So there you go.
So we're also going to utilize some of these elderberry cuttings in our food forest. This is a baby food forest that we're growing. We have a row of pawpaw seeds planted last fall right back here. And the pawpaws do best growing underneath a canopy, like in a forest. So we're going to use some of these elderberries, which will grow tall and fast, here right in front of the row of pawpaws, to give this nursery bed of priority plants a shade.
Yeah, keep them cool in the summer.
Yeah, and then we can always chop these down or transplant these pawpaws at another time. I wanted to show you a cutting.
Right there.
So just a couple of tips on when you're making your cuttings. You want to always make sure that you're planting it in the direction of its growth. So the bottom end, the part of the stick that was closest to the bottom needs to be planted in the ground, and the top of the stick needs to be planted up. So you can tell by these, the way buds. That these buds are growing. But if you don't have buds, another tip is I always cut flat, square at the bottom, and point at the top. That's the way I do it. I like to have the pointy end on top because if it's going to get rained on, it'll shed off. It's not going to hold moisture on the top edge of that. Some people like to plant a diagonal cut on the bottom so it pierces the ground better, but we're making a hole in the ground. So flat on the bottom, angled on the top is my recommendation.
Nice.
Let's put a few more of these in the ground.
So we're going to plant a row where I'm walking of some more of these elder cuttings right between the pears, the mulberries, and the apple trees.